I don't know if anybody can hear me out there. Can you hear me?
Two great singers tonight, Mr. Chris Thompson, Mr. Noel McKellar.
Knocking down on the
time. Hey now, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone and wonder why. The time is now, no hesitating. You got the green light, tell me why are you waiting? It's time. I said it's time. Shake it up. Talking, if you can't hit your ride, you better start walking. It's time. I said it's time. Oh, get on the ball, get on the right track. No time to lose, no looking back. It's time. Oh, I said it's time. 2, 3, 4. Lord, Lord, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone, you wonder why. Well, the time is now, no hesitating. You got the green light. Who are you waiting? It's time. I said it's time. Talk to me, boys. I like it, I like it. Hey, hey, hey. Lord, Lord, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone, you wonder why. I said the clock is ticking, there's no time for talking. If you can't hit your ride, you better start walking. It's time. He knows it's time. It's time. I said it's time. I mean it's time. Whip it. Yeah.
All right, everybody. It's Michael J. Steele coming at you live from downtown Fargo, North Dakota. I hope everybody's having a good time. Yeah, it's getting cold here in Fargo once again. I got to make it to Bismarck tomorrow for a convention in the morning. I got to leave here at 6 o'clock. I was going to leave tonight, but the highways have been closed all day. Figures I get called out to go to a convention. Well, it's a gathering. You know, people want to meet the candidate. There's a bunch of districts are getting together, having kind of a micro gathering to decide who they're going to pick for their candidates. So they want me to come down because they found out I'm running for United States Senate. And they want to get to meet me because they have to endorse the Democratic NPL candidate for North Dakota, and they want to figure out who they're going to pick when we have our convention, our state convention, March 27th here in Minot, North Dakota, the big convention. And they want to decide, you know, who are we going to pick? It's me or this lady from Nebraska, this Katrina Christensen, I guess. She's part-time adjunct professor, just started up in Jamestown Presbyterian. I guess she's a Presbyterian university. And I guess, I don't know, it says on one website that she teaches at for the University of St. Mary's, which is a Catholic thing, unless they have some kind of maybe a satellite program there. They're teaching at the Presbyterian College there in Jamestown. I know they got a Presbyterian college in Jamestown. Maybe they have something there, but I'm not sure. I'm getting different news sources. One news channel says she teaches as a professor at St. Mary's, and then the other news service says she's a professor there at Jamestown College, which is a Presbyterian college. So I don't know what to believe, but we don't really know too much about her, except for she's got an agricultural degree, and she's a part-time adjunct professor there. So she got in the race on Valentine's Day, so it's kind of wild. I've been running for 4 years, KFGO Radio here in Fargo, who's known me for all my life, here. In 25 years, I've been with the Democratic NPL Party in North Dakota and worked for Earl Pomeroy, Byron Dorgan, Ken Conrad, Ron Gugasberg, Mrs. Hogan, Mrs. Hill, Hogan, multiple candidates here, the Schneider family. They all know me. Everybody knows me. Dane DeCray, Matt Pierce, Diane Mondry. I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's multiple candidates I've worked for, got elected in the last 25 years, North Dakota. Heidi Heitkamp, and I don't know, they got her on like KFGO Radio. They had in a couple channels here that said they put her on as she was the first candidate got in the race. And a bunch of my constituents are calling saying, well, you've been on your Facebook with Joel Heitkamp, Paul Juergens, and all these radio people from KFGO. They all know you're in the race. They remember when I announced here 4 years ago, and I got all my FEC quarterly reports and all my filings with the federal government. I got multiple websites, campaign websites, multiple volunteers, and they're saying she got in the race and beat me. And well, I'm not even in the race, I guess, according to KFGO Radio. But now I had to call them, and my staff had to call them from DC, and they act like I'm the second person that got in the race finally. It's like, well, I've been in this race 4 years, I've been to 15 towns throughout North Dakota. I've had 50,000 people come to my rallies. I mean, I'm out right now. Because January 1st in North Dakota is when you can start actually getting people legally on your primary ballot signatures, which to get on the race, if you're the incumbent, you don't have to do anything. You're automatically on the ballot here. So I've been going out, in case I don't get the state's endorsement, I've been going out, getting signatures, January 1st. I'm halfway through that process now. We're almost there. And because they're going to get vetted, we're going to get a lot more than we need because we know they vet them. So I was told by my attorneys and my staff to get more than I need. So we're getting multiple signatures on that nominating ballot, which gets me on the June 14th primary in North Dakota. So we've been working on that. And then this Lori Dronin up there in Bismarck, I did call her and tell her I am running. And she kind of deferred me off to this Chad Hogan, which is, I think, a candidate for the Democratic NPL, Mrs. Hogan out of Fargo's son or relation, I'm sure. And he hasn't called me back yet. I don't know if he's in Fargo or doesn't answer his phone, but I was deferred. But, Lori Dronin, it says on all the website, she is our chairperson, not chairman. She's a woman for the Democratic NPL. I don't know why she's acting like this Chad Hogan is the head of the party. And it was a Washington, D.C. number. I got a 202 number for Hogan. And I've been trying to get a hold of him to see what was going on. And she told me I got to talk to him and announce that I'm running and let him know. But I guess she did talk to the media. And some people say, yeah, Mr. Steele got a hold of me after. I got a hold of her this week after this other lady, this Katrina from Nebraska, this transplant lady that came here, announced. So they got her as announcing first. And that means something when you announce first. But I announced way before she did. And I've been campaigning my butt off, working and getting things done. I helped our Native Americans here in North Dakota get on the ballot because if they lived on the reservations, they were not considered permanent residents. I got burnt to fire under our state legislature's asses here in North Dakota, and I've been making phone calls talking to our Native American leaders here and getting them and organizing and spreading the word that, hey, these citizens of North Dakota have been here longer than anybody, and if they don't deserve the right to vote, neither do I, you, or anybody else in America. But our Native American brothers and sisters finally got the right to vote and corrected this injustice that Governor Hoeven and the rest of the legislatures here have been perpetrating in our state for years. And our college kids now and students, well, they're not kids, they're adults. Sorry, but there are some kids in there that are 15, 16 that are geniuses that actually got to go to college early. I had a cousin went to Harvard at 15 years old and was a genius. So I guess they're kids to me. I'm 52 years old, but there's college people. I went to college when I was the ripe old age of 28 years old when I went back to college, and graduated, and I got some degrees out of the deal. But anyway, our students that are in college got the right to vote too now, finally, in North Dakota, after challenging some of the laws and that, and getting that taken care of. So now we're going to have our NDSU students and our UND and our students that are going to get to vote, and it serves our students the right to vote. They live in North Dakota. They pay in-state tuition. They support North Dakota's economy. They support our waitresses, our medical professions. They support our jobs. They pay taxes. You only got to live in North Dakota 30 days to vote here. You only got to be a resident, and all you got to do is show a North Dakota state ID, and you bring up your electric bill showing you live somewhere for 30 days. You get to vote. We have an open primary here, an open election. And if our students are going to live here for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 years, and maybe live here forever once they get hired at one of our high-tech sector jobs, or open up a small business with the Michael J. Steele plan, they deserve the right to vote. They're citizens, they're taxpayers, they're 18 years old, and that's it. I mean, what more can we ask from our productive students? They work harder than anybody that I know. And I'll tell you what, I was a student, and I know how hard our students work. So there's many days I put in 16-hour days, months on end, and couldn't wait for that spring break or that vacation to catch up on my Z's like I'm doing now. I would like to get my break. Last night I went home. I did this show. I went and ate, and I went home, and I did some work. I got out of the office at 2 a.m. last night, went home and fell asleep and got some rest finally after about a month of getting about 3 hours of sleep a night and a couple cat naps here and there during the day. And it's like I'm back in college again taking tests, but I love it because it's getting me up to speed and it's getting me connected. So you are listening to the Michael J. Steele for Senate show, and we're going all over the world. We have callers from Brazil, New Zealand, England, France, India, just everywhere, America. So right now we're going to do our up-to-the-minute weather, which is really ironic. I have to go to Bismarck tomorrow to this convention I was telling you about, because the candidates, it does the candidates good to get out and meet the people around the country, and that's the western part of the state. It's about a 3.5-hour drive from Fargo. And now we're getting a blizzard here. Some of the highways are closed down in North Dakota this morning, and hopefully it clears up. But I got to get up about 6 a.m. tomorrow and be somewhere by 10. I got to drive and go to this convention, and it's the delegates want to meet me. And it's, I believe it's about 4 to 6 districts, I believe, in Bismarck are meeting, and they want to meet me because they got to decide who they're going to pick at the convention and who the party's going to endorse after the convention for the primary. We're going to have the primary, and then for the big one in November. So I hope I'm that person. Anyhow, let's do our up-to-the-minute weather report right now for North Dakota. And I'm going to report for Fargo, and right now it's currently 8:31 Central Standard Time. It is Friday, February 18th on the program, 2022. Right now it's 5 degrees, and we got a northwest wind. It's a doozy out there, 25 miles per hour, and right now it's 17 below zero. Humidity is pretty good. I'm breathing pretty good. I got asthma. I can tell when the weather's, it's harder to breathe. We got a good, humidity's not bad, 65. visibility right now, we got mostly cloudy and it's very windy out there. It's not too bad on the highways right now, but be careful. It's treacherous out there. It could change at any moment. You know, once we get a little wind, this snow, with these blowing snow drifts, that's 9 miles visibility right now in the surrounding areas around Fargo. There are some bad areas on the highway. Some, like I say, some of the highways in North Dakota are closed off. So hopefully it'll clear up so I can head out tomorrow morning, get my butt to Bismarck to the convention because they want to meet me. I am the United States Senate candidate in North Dakota. Our barometric pressure is 30.34 inches and rising, and it's -4 dew point. We have a Praven in the show. Hi, Praven. How you doing? I'm going to talk to you here. Hi, what's going on?
I'm great, wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing pretty
Michael?
good. Where are you calling from, Praven?
I'm from India.
Oh, how's everything going in India?
It's good. Everything is good. There is a COVID-free country. No COVID cases are going here. It's free of COVID.
Fantastic. I'm happy. Yeah, our COVID numbers have gone down 40% in the United States in the last week, according to our recent numbers.
Yes.
So maybe we're going to have some better luck now. Yeah.
Yes. In India also same. The COVID cases are decreased. A lot of cases are decreased. No active cases are there in India.
That is fantastic. I've been praying, and I know a lot of people around the world, we've been praying that this day comes, and hopefully this will continue, and this is a blessing from everybody, and I'm just so happy to hear that in India. I know it was pretty rough there, too, just rough there, as bad as the United States. So what else is going on for you guys in
Thanks,
India? Thank you for calling. What else is going on?
Thanks for praying, sir. Thanks for praying.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, I'll keep praying, too. I pray all the time. You know, there's a lot. We still got to keep praying for everybody. A lot going on in the world. Yeah.
You are a wonderful person.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm running for United States Senate. I got a lot to do right now, and I've been campaigning for over 4 years. I got about 8 months to go. Oh, thank you, Pravin, for calling. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to hear that India right now is COVID-free. And the area that he's at, and their numbers are going down too, and that is such a wonderful thing, and I hope it continues. This is just fantastic news. Just so glad to hear from India. Our friend Bunty calls in usually quite a bit, and we have a lot of friends from India calling in. I'm just so happy to hear that things are going better there right now. I'm going to go ahead and start our news. I'm going to try to do our condensed version of the news. I got so many good news stories right now to cover, and we're going to try to do them. I'm going to try to condense them for you a little bit so we have some time for some calls tonight. Oh, and this show is brought to you by Bernadette Hoven from Bismarck, North Dakota. Thank you once again, Bernadette, for your $500 donation last Monday coming in the mailbox. And that helps my campaign. It helps keep the show on the air and keeps us with our affiliated networks. Right now, we have about 1,000 affiliated networks that are participating in the program, and we thank them for that and for the continued success of the program and the campaign. I'd like to thank my team right now in Washington, and Zachary, who's right now working with the Air Force in Arizona. They took him a couple days ago, and he said, I might not hear from him. He's been doing testing and physicals and everything. I don't know if he's going to ship out or not. I might have lost my chief of staff, so he said he's going to get a hold of me this evening and give me a report and a brief of what's going on with his life with the military. And I hope they didn't take him, but it looks like he might be going to the Air Force sooner than later because they need him now, they said, and looks like he's going to be going into some intelligence. But I said, just as soon as I become North Dakota's next senator, I'm going to call him and he's going to come work for my staff. So hopefully we don't lose him, but our country needs him now, and he did a lot of service for our campaign. Found out some great information, and thanks, Zach. If we don't hear from you, but hopefully you get a time away from the military now, and you call me, I hope you hear this show. I don't know. He said, I'm going to be in Arizona testing and physicals and everything, and they got me now, but I don't know if you signed on that dotted line yet. Usually you got to get processed and then you sign. I know how that whole thing works. I was there myself. So, but hopefully he can find time to call me and tell me how's it going with the Air Force right now. So anyhow, we're going to do some up to the minute news right now, and some very important thing. This come out right now. Advisory issued to check powdered infant formula after manufacturer announces recall. This comes out of our state capital where I'm going to be going, Bismarck, North Dakota. The North Dakota Department of Health issued an advisory for parents and caregivers to check their powdered infant formulas after manufacturer Abbott Nutrition issued a voluntary product recall on products that include the brand names Similac, Alimentum, and Eli Care. Recall comes as the Food and Drug Administration, along with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and state and local partners conduct investigations on 4 consumer complaints of infant illnesses related to products originating at Abbott Nutrition Sturgis, Michigan locations. That'd be Sturgis, South Dakota and Michigan. The investigation and recall are limited to products with the first 2 digits 22 through 37. Once again, the investigation recall are limited to products with the first 2 digits 22 to 37. And the code on the container contains K8 SHRZ2 and the expiration date of April 1st, 2022 or later. The FDA investigation includes 3 reports of Chronobacter Sakazaki infections and 1 report of Salmonella Newport infection in infants. All 4 cases related to these complaints were hospitalized, and Chronobacter may have contributed to a death in 1 case. Chronobacter bacteria can cause sepsis or meningitis. Symptoms of sepsis and meningitis may include poor feeding, irritability, temperature changes, jaundice, grunting, breaths, and abnormal movements. Salmonella is a group of bacteria that can cause gastrointestinal illness, fever, and salmonellosis. Most people with salmonellosis develop diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps. More severe cases of salmonellosis may include a high fever, aches, headaches, lethargy, a rash, blood in the urine or stool. In some cases may become a fatal illness. So if you have these symptoms, adults or children, babies, please consult with medical professional immediately. Parents who have been using recalled products and notice any unusual behavioral illness in their infants are encouraged to contact their infant's healthcare provider or seek medical care for their infants, said me. Do it right away. And early diagnosis and treatment are important to prevent serious disease outcomes. Parents and caregivers are asked to check powdered formula for the codes that I mentioned and dates right away. So that's something you want to check right now. Once again, I'll read those codes. The investigation recall are limited products with the first 2 digits 22 through 37. And the code on the counter contains K8SHRZ2. Expiration date April 1st, 2022 or later. So please check your formulas out for your children. And if you have any of those signs, get checked out. Truckers are planning DC-bound convoy through North Dakota and Minnesota. An advocacy group that opposes government overreach is planning a series of convoys through travel across the country to Washington, D.C. now. The American Truckers Freedom Fund is urging truck drivers across the nation to join several convoys heading to the nation's capital in March. According to the organization's website, there are plans for 1 convoy to travel through Minot. That's where I'm going to be having my convention in March 27th at Bismarck, our state capital in North Dakota, and Fargo, before heading through Minnesota. So they're going to have a bunch of them coming through Minot, Bismarck, and Fargo. We are a movement of peaceful, nonviolent Americans, they say, who are dissatisfied, they're unscientific, unconstitutional government. They're claiming our government is unscientific, unconstitutional, And they're saying that there's an overreach in regard to these mandates, according to statements of the organization's website. You can read it yourself. The organization says the truckers are participating, call it attention to issues, which include reopening. They want this Keystone pipeline back in North Dakota, back on the Indian, Native American Indian land, they're saying here on this report here now, after it leaked 30 million barrels of oil and got in the Missouri River, and North Dakota only sued and got 15 million, where they should have probably got about 60 million, but they got a slap in the face from the big oil companies and got 15 million for just the cleanup. And there's probably going to be damages in our Missouri River forever. And actually, the head of Keystone pulled it out of here, but they're trying to get this pipeline back in North Dakota now. This organization here, and that's what they're saying here. It's a protest not only about mandates, it's also to get the Keystone XL pipeline back up and running in North Dakota. So these people right here are giving the finger to our Native American brothers and sisters now, and they're trying to get this Keystone XL pipeline, which actually leaked in North Dakota. You can look at it, Google it on Native American land. It lost 30 million gallons in the head of Keystone after the leak pulled it out of here, because the Native Americans knew it would leak, because this thing, the plan they had, it was under a lot of pressure, and then where they were going to do it, it leaked all over to the Missouri River in the state of North Dakota. Did sue and got 15 million for cleanup, which was really a slap on the wrist to the Keystone pipeline. And once the CEO lost the 15 million bucks, he had to pull it out of here to clean it up, and he lost money. And he didn't want it there because they're not getting a whole bunch of money anyway. My state, the only one that's getting a kickback out of this, from all the research that my staff has done, is John Hoeven's got a big bunch of money, because he's been promoting this Keystone pipeline for about 3-4 years now. Because there's many news sources of him, even when they first started this thing 4 or 5 years ago, him saying, yeah, we're going to run it through North Dakota. It'll be a great thing for the economy, for the state. It doesn't do nothing for the state of North Dakota. It just covers a little bit of area, and the Native Americans didn't want it here. Mark Ruffalo, my cousin from California, come up here, and a bunch of actors, Billy Ray Cyrus, a bunch of actors come up here for a year and protested. People got killed in North Dakota during the protest, and then law enforcement officers came here, and some law enforcement people got shot. It was just a horrible thing that happened on the natives' land. They got double-crossed. The natives' treaties were broken against the Native Americans, where they went ahead and built the pipeline anyway. Everybody big business went against them. John Hoeven went against them. John Hoeven let them build the pipeline. They had the military, everybody, the Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers, they built it. And then a couple months later, the damn thing leaked, just like the natives said it's going to leak. They didn't want it in their drinking water. They didn't want it in the Missouri River. The damn thing went in the Missouri River. 30 million gallons of oil in the Missouri River. Poison polluted the land. Who knows what the long-term effects are, as far as cancer, killing our fish, our wildlife here, hurting our ecosystem forever. And then they get a $30 million slap on the wrist. The head of the Keystone XL pipeline, the CEO, pulled it out of here after that, because he got so much hate mail and bad press. He figured to cover his own ass, he pulled the pipeline out. And now these truckers that are these Freedom Fund, American Truckers Freedom Fund, are coming through North Dakota now, and they're going to protest to bring the Keystone pipeline back to North Dakota after it destroyed our lands, after this fiasco, after people died and given their lives to not have it here. You know, and now these nuts are coming here to my state, and they're going to come here and harass and start trouble like they did in Ottawa for mandates and all that. I got the shots, and a lot of people that get these shots have cancer, and it's saving a lot of lives, you know. And I'll tell you what, if medical science doesn't work, then I guess I got to throw away my degrees. We got to start throwing away all of our degrees and everything, and tear down all of our universities, you know, if science doesn't work, you know, and our doctors don't work. You know, when people had polio, and polio, measles, mumps, rubella, we used to go into gymnasiums when we were kids and auditoriums to take this medicine to get rid of polio, measles, mumps, rubella. We eradicated polio, a crippling disease, that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt had, and he was the greatest president in the world, but it killed a lot of people, paralyzed people, and we got rid of it in this country. And now these crazy people now are talking about mandates and that. Basically, this mandate was thrown out by the Supreme Court. The Joe Biden mandate doesn't exist. So this is all a Trump thing and a right-wing conspiracy to basically make the president look bad and control the votes. This thing in Ottawa, the people in Ottawa were on my show. Many of them called in. Lifetime residents said, we don't have a mandate to get a shot in Ottawa. You don't have to get this shot if you don't want to, if you live in Canada. There's nobody forcing you to get a shot. And basically, if you work for a corporation, I have relatives that called, that quit their jobs, that were nurses. They work for corporations. The minute they put a mandate on them, said you don't get the shot, you got to leave. Well, they left. The military right now, at first, people were going AWOL when they had a mandate on the shot. They wanted 2.7 million military personnel to get shots, or you got to get out of the military. So a bunch of them went AWOL when it was mandate. Now the military said, we're not going to mandate you. If you don't get the shot, we're going to throw you out of the service. So you got a choice. You can leave. And that's what these corporations are doing now. You got a choice, either get the shot or lose your job. So that's what I'm saying. You don't want to get the shot? Then go get another job like I had to do many times in my life when I worked for corrupt companies and I did things that I didn't want to do, like if they told you to do something that was corrupt, or I worked for an automobile, big company, and I was an auto mechanic, and people would bring me their vehicles, and their vehicles were under warranty, and I'd go to my service advisor and I'd say, this transmission's got a leak here, and he'd say, no, it don't. And I go, yeah, it does. It needs repair. And he'd say, no, it don't. And I go, why? Why doesn't it have a leak? Well, it's still under warranty. And he'd say, wait till the warranty expires, and then we'll fix it and we'll bill them for it. But while it's under warranty, we're not going to fix it, because we get a kickback from the big dealership if we keep our warranty work down to them. We got more money doing that. And I go, oh, really? So I thought about it a while, and then I walked in there. One day I loaded up my pickup truck. I loaded all my tools. I said, I can't work for a company like this and send this lady and her kids out on the highway tomorrow going out of town with a transmission that might go out. And then when it breaks down, I guess that warranty is going to have to kick in when her car breaks down, and the dealership will have to, pay for it. But I don't want her breaking down and getting stranded on the highway. We should fix it now. But I'm leaving now. Goodbye. Because they didn't want to fix it because it was under warranty work. But when the warranty work was no longer there, then they'd have me fix it, because they charge you out of her own pocket, because they got a kickback from the dealerships, the big company, from the corporations. You got your General Motors, your Fords, your Toyotas, you got all these big companies. And this outfit I worked for, I quit because they didn't want me to fix anything that was under warranty work. They wanted me to fix it after warranty work, because they wanted to get their big kickback from the corporation at the end of the year. I don't know why they were like that. And I walked. Yeah, that's the kind of man, that's the kind of ethics and principles I had. And I lost a good job, and I violated a contract, because I was supposed to be there for 5 years. I had a 5-year contract because of the training they provide me that, but I walked, and when you quit a job like that, you're always the bad guy. They try to make you out the bad guy. But anyway, that was a long time ago. And you always get fallout when you quit something, because they always think you're the a-hole, when corporations have a big say-so in the life of the little guy. And I was the little man then. Kim Potter sentenced to 2 years in Daunte Wright's death, which a lot of people now, the family and the court, say that was a very, very small sentencing for her. Only 2 years she's going to get, and after good time, and if she gives blood draws and all that in prison, she'll probably be out in 6 to 9 months. 2 years probably reduced to 6 to 9 months. She's going to do no time at all, this lady, for killing this Daunte Wright, an innocent man here in Minneapolis. Kim Potter, the former suburban Minneapolis police officer, who said she confused her handgun for her taser, and she fatally shot the poor Daunte Wright. She was sentenced today to only 2 years in prison There's an outcry around the country, around Minneapolis. Dante's family is just disgusted. No justice was served. Potter was convicted in December of first and second degree manslaughter and the April 11th killing of Wright, a 20-year-old black motorist. She was sentenced only on the more serious charge in accordance with state law. Wright's mother, Katie Wright, said after the sentencing that Potter murdered my son, adding today the justice system murdered him all over again. She also accused the judge of being taken in by white woman's tears after Potter cried during her pre-sentencing statement. Speaking before the sentence was imposed, Atilfa Wright said she could never forgive Potter and that she would refer to her only as the defendant because Potter only referred to her son as the driver at the trial. He was called the driver at the trial. So anyway, she's got a really low sentence of 2 years, which there's an outcry in Minneapolis. So if you see more protests out there, don't, I see it coming. Going to be more protests, just like that Chauvin deal, and Minneapolis can be up in arms over this one. You watch. And she only got 2 years, which she'll be out in 6 to 9. You watch. She ain't going to do no time at all. And if she doesn't know, and they said she 28 times, I guess she didn't, she mistaken her taser for her handgun. I mean, the lady obviously needed some eyeglasses or something too, because I don't know how the heck you could not. I know a taser weighs a lot less than a handgun. A handgun is pretty heavy. When you pick up a gun, there's weight there. And a taser, there's no weight in these tasers. I picked those up too, you know. So 2 Sioux Falls police officers are charged in a pornography case. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, my neighbor to the south here of North Dakota. 2 police officers are facing child pornography charges in what officials say are unrelated cases. 28-year-old Luke Shower has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of attempted production of child pornography and transfer of obscene materials to minors. Shower has bonded out of jail. 23-year-old Matthew Jock, J-O-C-K, is charged in state court with 5 counts of possession, manufacturing, and distributing of child pornography. He remains in custody at the Minnehaha County Jail on a $25,000 cash bond. The city's chief and mayor say they're going to be reviewing the police department's internal policies and procedures, and that's about it. So you got one guy out on bail, and another is in there on cash bond, $25,000. But these guys were manufacturing child pornography and selling it to police officers. So they must have had children. I don't know how the hell they could release the one guy, and both these guys were making it with children, making pornography with children and selling it. And these are cops. So this is, they're not giving us too much information on this one, but one guy is actually out. I hope these guys, if they're innocent, they burn in rotten hell. And the judge throws the books at these 2 sick bastards. And they look, the pictures of them look like they're relatively young cops, maybe in their 20s or early 30s at the latest. And they look very young, sickos. Survey farm prices, equipment sales soar across 10 states. Omaha, Nebraska. A new monthly survey of bankers says the strength of the economy in rural parts of 10 plains and western states continue to drive farm prices and equipment sales higher. The overall economic index for the region grew 61.5% in February from January 61.1. Any score above 50 suggests growth. Creighton University economist Ernie Gross, who oversees the survey, says the region is benefiting from a combination of solid grain prices, low interest rates, and strong agricultural exports. The survey covers Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. So right now, farm prices, equipment sales soar across 10 states. I just thought I'd mention that for our farmers out there. Today, Biden said that Putin has decided to invade Ukraine, and he will do so in coming days. U.S. President Biden said today he was convinced Russian President Vladimir Putin had made a decision to invade Ukraine, and though there was still room for diplomacy, he expected Russia to move on in the country In the coming days, we have reason to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend to attack Ukraine in the coming week. In the coming days, Biden said, adding that the United States believe Russia would target Ukraine's capital, Kiev. I don't know, they're calling it Kyiv. Some of the old timers, we still call it Kiev. Some of the new callers are calling it Kyiv. So the shit's going to hit the fan, it looks like, in the next coming days, according to the President of the United States, Joe Biden. Let's see here. We got in Canada, Freeland strays from G20 economic script to warn Russia on Ukraine sources. Canadian's Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland stepped well beyond economic policy at a G20 finance meeting today to issue an impassioned warning to her Russian counterparts not to invade neighboring Ukraine. Two sources familiar with her remarked during a contentious G20 meeting hosted by Indonesia. Freeland directly addressed Russia Finance Minister Anton Siluanov and Central Bank Governor Elvira Nabiullina and warned them that Russia would face crushing sanctions in the event of an invasion. She said if Ukraine is invaded, all the economies and citizens will suffer. Freeland told them, according to one of the sources, the economic sanctions on Russia will be swift, they will be coordinated, and they will be crushing. Like-minded countries agree on this course of action. We are all united and resolute. Freeland's press secretary, Andren Vospas, did not attend Reuters' request for comment on her speech. Freeland participated in the meeting on a web link from Ottawa today. The sources said that Freeland, previously Canada's foreign minister, took an opportunity to speak directly to influential Russian policymakers at a critical moment as tensions intensified on the border of Ukraine and Russia, where Russia has massed 120,000 troops right now. So it looks like, according to Biden and also the head of one of the leaders of Canada, that it's going to happen, but she's trying to tell him don't. And Biden said there's still room for diplomacy, but it's up to Putin now, I guess. Oregon and California seek to protect election workers from threats right now. This is terrible. Our election workers are getting threatened. Lawmakers in Oregon and California are calling for tougher legislation to protect election workers in response to continuing waves of threats and harassment inspired by you-know-who, President, the Nazi Donald Trump, and his false claims that the 2020 election was rigged again. In Oregon, legislatures are considering a measure that would make it a felony to harass or threaten election workers while they are performing their official election duties. State officials said the measure would also exempt the personal information of election workers, such as their home address or their employers, from certain public records. In the months leading up to since 2020, election workers across the country have faced verbal abuse, harassment, violent threats on their lives. Oregon Secretary of State Ximena Fagan, a Democrat, told state lawmakers on Tuesday, as we head into the 2020 election season, we must all do that we can to protect our election workers from physical harm, from misinformation, from Donald Trump. Oregon joins at least 9 other states considering strong protections for election administrators who faced a campaign of terror inspired by Donald Trump's basic claims of widespread fraud in 2020. Reuters documented more than 850 hostile messages to election workers and officials nationwide in a series of investigative reports. Reuters reporting made it clear that we had to do something to address the unprecedented rise in threats and harassment targeting election workers. U.S. officials are overworked, underpaid, understaffed, and now, at this moment, are under attack once again by the Trump and his cronies. It looks like they have been well documented, and they're keeping track now, and it looks like these people are asking for help by the Department of Justice and the federal election committees. We also need laws to enforce, to intervene whenever election officials are being harassed, are threatened, and we need to prosecute any person threatening or attacking wherever possible to help deter this kind of heinous behavior being perpetrated by Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, if you're listening, leave our election people alone. You lost the damn election, and grow the F up, will you, buddy? Leave it alone. You're not. And if you keep your Hitler tactics going, you're going to get arrested. I hope he keeps up and somebody arrests this guy and puts him in a rubber room in a straitjacket until the election is over. You know, this is just getting up, saying this guy is going around. Now he's got these truckers coming through my state right now trying to get this Keystone XL pipeline going again. I'm just so sick of Trump and these Nazis. We got to shut these guys down. You know, there's countries all across the country. France just declared yesterday, I didn't even say it on the show, that our right-wing groups right now in our Republican Party are an extremist group. They're calling our people now in our political Republican Party and Trump's party an extremist group, and they're putting them on a terrorist watch list in France because they're making these other countries now are having these trucker strikes and all this. This is just unbelievable what they're doing. Right now we got Marcos coming into the program. Hey, Marcos, how you doing?
Hey, Michael.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you good. How you doing?
Man, you have a crystal ball in your house. You have different power of view the future, because today I got robbed. Just today. Do you remember yesterday you say to me, take care here in Brazil, because there are all bad guys in the streets. And so today they took all my wallet, my notebook, my cell phone, credit cards, documents, also my blazer.
Oh, my Lord. Sorry to hear that. That is awful. Oh, man, I'm hoping you have some kind of backup protection for your notes somewhere on a BC somewhere in the cloud. Do you have a cloud there, access to the cloud?
Yeah, thank God that I was presented to that. But the losses are for me here in this actual contest. These four guys have broke my next 6 months.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, Marcos. That's awful, man. That's what do you think brought that on? Do you have any idea why they did that? Are they just robbing people randomly, or was it for something political, something you said on your show, or what's going on?
I don't have the license. Sorry, I don't have the idea that was a political act. There were four guys, two of them armed. Of course, I wasn't carrying mine. At that time, I was in the bus stop alone, waiting for the bus. So they stopped, two behind, two in the front. I couldn't do anything.
Wow. Sorry to hear that. Did they know who you were then, or was it just random robbers, I guess? Or did they know who you were? Was it intentional or was it random? Was it intentional or random?
At this point, I don't even know more. If you say me, it was ordered, I would believe it. It's a difficult, it's a tough contest to live in and to step in, to say so.
Well, I'm glad you have your life. That's the main thing. Maybe it was a blessing you didn't have your gun with you. You might have had a shootout and you might have died. You never know. You know, it might have been good you didn't, that you weren't armed. You know, you might have done something rash and you might have shot it out with them, and you might not be here today. So it's probably a blessing that you're here and you didn't have your gun with you. You never know, you know, but that's, man, that's unbelievable that you got attacked and robbed. That's terrible. Oh, man. Wow.
I don't want to ruin your show with this hard news, simple hard news. It's just because we were talking about that yesterday, so it was an unbelievable coincidence.
I'm sorry to hear that. Do you have like a GoFundMe page or a website you could build that you can come on the show and promote it maybe to help you get maybe recoup your finances?
I'm starting now a podcast here in Podbean, but my English is still doesn't allow me to do a host show by myself. So to Brazilians, Podbean still doesn't catch it. They are way far from the Podbean.
But if you do like a fundraiser to recoup the money you lost and got robbed, if you want to come on here and do a plug for it, let me know, and you can come on here. If somebody does like a GoFundMe page or something to help you financially, let me know. I'll let you come on my show, and you can go ahead and do that to recuperate some of the money you lost through the robbery. If you need to do that, okay?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just appreciate your prayers, your praise.
Okay.
If you pray for me today, I'm gonna be satisfied.
I'll do that for sure. But yeah, prayers are good. I pray for a lot of people, and that's what we got to do every day. All of us got to pray and open our eyes and just pay attention. You know, it's a shame you got robbed there over in Brazil. That's terrible. You know, people are working hard trying to get the truth out, and then they get robbed. You know, a lot of crime and criminal elements out there. And some people, I don't know if they're because they have bad credit reports or if they have bad records, they can't get jobs. Maybe they can't get housing. Maybe they're discriminated upon, and they turn to crime. You know, sometimes they get forced into criminal activity by their governments or by their credit reports or by this or that or the other thing, you know, and it's a shame. And I think people, if they are being forced into crime by one thing or another, they need to be allowed back into the franchise and they need to be able to get a job or an education and get some rehabilitation or just get another second chance or third or fourth chance, you know. But if they get real bad, we need to catch them. We need to lock them up, and our justice system needs the tools and they need to get them and put them in prison if they're just habitual criminals and they can't do anything to help society. We got to lock them up, you know, and that's just the way it goes. But if the system's not there to help them, and there are no jobs and the system ain't going to help, some people turn to crime till they do go to jail and go to prison, and that's where they wind up staying the rest of their lives, you know. So I guess it's the decisions that you make in your life decide your fate and outcome. But remember, you always have the scriptures and you always have the good book, and God and Jesus are with you. And if you remember that, I think you'll be protected. But some people
always,
right? And a lot of people go to the dark side and they don't do that, and that's why they wind up dying or getting killed or go to prison or jail, and they go the other way. So yeah. So anything else going on, Marcos, you'd like to talk today? I was kind of doing the news. I got some more stories.
I would like to talk about Biden's affirmation about for the Putin and Bolsonaro meeting. Have you seen it?
Yeah, they've been meeting on and off, you know, quite a bit. But I just got today. I got the report Biden just gave out where he said it looks like that it's going to happen in the next few days. Is what the last thing Biden said. He gave
our president, the Bolsonaro, or the Brazilian president, have met with Vladimir Putin 2 days ago. Was a schedule from a year behind, but Biden today said that Brazil is going to the other side. Is an enemy against NATO.
Oh, yeah, I think I might have seen something like that where they were talking. Yeah, that's not good. I wish they'd been on our side. Yeah, that's too bad. Wow.
We are on the American side. But we have to honor our agreements with other countries and other countries.
Oil deal. What is it? Oil deal or something like that? Oil?
No, it's defense. The Bolsonaro president it's renewing our army. Our former president bought some Gripens. The jet is that a jet? A jet a flying jet? It's that the name? Hello.
Oh,
Michael.
He made a deal with Russia then on some jets. You're saying?
Yeah. So he went to honor this agreement with Putin to renew some of our Bolsonaro is a former military, so it's one of these topics, and Biden didn't like it so much.
Oh, wow. I'd rather have you guys as our ally than Russia's ally myself, because we got a lot more to offer you than those old antiquated Russian weapons. The stuff you'd get from us would be a lot better, and we could use a lot more of your products here in America than Russia could. But I guess if they want to honor, your former
at
deal.
the time it was the cheaper. At the time, I believe was the cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah.
And the same technology or similar.
Right. Yeah, it probably wasn't as...
That's why. It's pragmatic.
Probably wasn't as advanced as our stuff. We got the most advanced weaponry in the world here in America, so it probably was cheaper, but we'd probably get you the most advanced weaponry with all the updated computer systems and everything we sell, we update it and everything. It's all upgraded, But I mean, your president's honoring a deal. They're honoring contracts, which is what they do if they bought the stuff. Because Brazil doesn't want Russia on their bad side either, So I can see that also. You make a deal, you honor it. And that's kind of how that works too. But it'd be nice if...
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be nice if we could have... He just
in his discourse, in his speech, Bolsonaro just said to maintain, sustain the peace. Don't go to war.
Yeah.
Just like that, simple like that.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. We got other allied nations too. We've had that are in our NATO pact for years anyway. So, but it's too bad. We just don't want to strain relations with Brazil anyhow. We don't want to strain our relations with you guys, because there's a lot there. And we've had good relations with Brazil.
I know you are a critic from Trump, but at the time when Trump was in the government, his Secretary of State was very, very close to the Brazilian ambassador. So we advanced so much at that time, but now with Biden, I don't know exactly why we lost this relation.
Well, yeah, Biden's focusing on other things now that Trump actually neglected. See, there's a lot of issues in America that Trump neglected, and that's what we're trying to get back into the works again, and that's what we're doing, is getting back with some countries that he neglected, some things he put on the back burner. We had to get back in the Paris Accord, which Biden did. We have to rehabilitate our Environmental Protection Agency, which Biden did, and Biden's been working on our own infrastructure here at home. He ended the war in Afghanistan, saving America $150 million a day. He just stopped $750 billion a year that was going into Somalia now that Somalia is under this regime of a crooked military government that's killing and starving off its own people out of greed. It's just horrible what's going on in Somalia. Right now we're kind of taking care of our pandemic. We've been sending a lot of our COVID vaccines to different countries. We got humanitarian efforts all over the country, all over the world right now. We're trying to help people too, so he's just kind of getting things back in order for America and trying to get them a lot of things that Trump neglected and trying to get those back at the forefront of what America stands
Well,
for.
it's a pragmatic issue. It's a bilateral relation that would be mandatory to sustain that. It's a simple commerce relationship and sympathy for the cultural similarities. Here in Brazil, we have America as an example, not as an enemy. Never we took America as an enemy.
Oh, I never said you guys were. You guys have always been one of our favorite status. You guys have had favorite status nation, forever. But you're just saying that they just had deals with Russia, as far as militarily and all that. And then you said that Biden.
Yeah, we bought some. We made some great big contracts with the Russian government. Yeah, that's true.
And then you said that right now that you guys have been staying out of this Ukraine deal, right? You're not kind of getting involved with that, and Biden's you're kind of on.
But Biden, what the speculation is Russia developing a nuclear program with Brazil. I saw it in CNN a few hours ago, and maybe I don't know if the MSNBC are told to, but I saw it. Brazil have in his constitution that we are forbidden to have a nuclear program.
Well, do you think you guys are having a secret nuclear missile plan there with Russia? Do you think it is taking place somewhere or not?
We don't have even our umbilical program. If a war broke today, Brazil just have ammunition for 2 hours of war. It's even funny because our military was so discredited in the past 20 years that they are totally obsolete.
Because, like you said, though, like the people there don't really know too much of what's going on because you don't really have a democracy. So it would be very easy for your government to hide a secret nuclear intelligence program going on with Russia there. If the people don't have a democracy, how would the people know? How would the people know,
Because the Bolsonaro actual mandate is his mandate. It's marked by conflicts with Supreme Court and the Congress. So they are his shadow. Everything he makes different. It's a pandemic. It's about Bolsonaro's pandemic errors.
So you're saying that they're not doing it then? You don't think it's happening there? Then they're not secretly developing nukes there in Brazil with Russia then? Are building maybe a missile site or a base there then in Russia? Because that's what we had, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and that's something that America was always worried about during the Kennedy administration with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they probably don't want a base in where you're at. We don't want a base in Brazil either. That's kind of too close to home, and we don't want that there either. That wouldn't be good for America, for our safety and security either, right where you're at. That's way too close to where we're at. And So you're saying you don't think they'd be building one there in secret somewhere, like a
100% certain of that. I know too much people in the government, military included, that they even can't. The English is worse than mine. So to have a notion what so obsolete is our army, our forces, our troops.
Well, that's good then. I'm hoping that you're correct and we don't have a threat there and we don't have to worry about it. And I've always thought Brazil was just a great place to be and for tourism and everything. And I know, like I say, there's a lot of billionaires now, and I always thought you guys had a good economy. But you've set me straight on the abject poverty there and everything going on, and the crime there is terrible there and everything, and the lack of democracy, the lack of freedom of the people, and it seems like a state-controlled media there, and almost like dictatorship. Would you say you're under? What form of government do they claim they have? But what form of government do you have? Like a dictatorship there still, or what's going on?
We have a party project of government. They planned to be in power by the next 50 years. So they instead drain the swamp, they allow it to grow bigger. So now we have more bureaucracy, more things to deal, more problems to deal, like inflation, like obsolete institutions. The Supreme Court, instead of protect the Constitution, legislates, exercise the power of police. It's unbelievable because they investigate too. The House of Representatives, it's a mess. So this contest just let the former Brazilian president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva go to jail. He was in jail until 2020 for corruption, for having I don't know the term in English, but using the public funds to private benefit.
That's a misappropriations of funds. We call that misappropriations of government.
Misappropriation of funds.
Yeah, that's what we call that in America, misappropriations of funds. Yeah, that's a crime. Wow, and that's what he did. Well, that's good that he went to prison for that. A lot of our people in America don't even go to prison for that. So your country did a good thing, right, by putting him in prison.
But he's now free. The Supreme Court rejected all the process, and he's a candidate for the next election.
So you got a crook that might be coming back into power again, then, it sounds like. Wow, a lot of corruption there.
Yeah.
What's his popularity? You think he's popular? You think he'll get in where the people elect him? I don't know.
He's a populist. He's like the government of Argentina, the Kirchner. He has a beautiful speech. He's a natural born speaker. He remembers a lot Obama talking to the crowds. So he's a former syndicalist. So he has a level of sympathy that it's a threat. It's a real threat.
Okay, now, who do you want to be your next leader there in your country? Is there anybody that you favor or you like? Who would you like to see running your government there, the leader of your country?
In the actual situation, I will maintain our president. It has been 4 years of electoral the contests that we have a different electoral system. We use electro urns, so the vote is not a writing vote. It's a machine which computes your vote. So it's extremely contested here because you cannot make a conference, a recall, a watch from the votes. So you simply have to believe in the system.
Okay, but so you want the president you have in there now then as the you want him to get reelected then?
To be reelected.
So you like him then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you like him, and what's his name again?
He's extremely limited. He's extremely limited as an intellectual, but he has a background of people that is extremely competent.
Oh, he's got a good team behind him. Well, that's good. What is his name again? Bertoneros, or what's his name?
Bolsonaro. I'm gonna write.
Bolsonaro.
He's a former captain.
Farmer?
He's a former captain for army.
Oh, army captain. Army captain.
Yeah.
Okay, army captain. Oh, Bolsonaro. What's his first name? Do you know his first name?
Jair.
Jair? How old is he? I guess Jair. How old is he? I was wondering his age.
He's in the middle of the 60s, but almost the 70s.
Oh, so he's got some age on him then too, like our presidents, our leaders said. So he's not a very young man. He's kind of retirement age then. Okay, in his 60s, almost 70. And would you say he's?
But he's in good shape because he is still a soldier. Can I say it? If I can say it.
Is he?
He wakes up in the morning to do exercise every day.
Is he considered a hero to the people there in your country? Then would he be like a war hero, a hero, or what?
No. We are divided by people who love him and people who despise him because he's extremely polemic. He doesn't measure words. So black is black, white is white, and you don't have a middle ground. Yes, it's yes, and no, it's no.
Wow. Okay. Well, sometimes that's hard then too, because there are a lot of gray areas in life, and some things aren't always yes or no or black and white, So
I agree. He has failed in this thinking.
Well, you'd rather have him though than the other one that's in prison, that came out of prison though, than the old guard. Why would?
Yeah, I'm gonna write Lula.
What's the difference between the two of them? One's that corrupt, and why do you choose the one leader, Lula? Why don't you want Lula, and why do you want Bolsonaro? Why did you choose Bolsonaro?
Because he doesn't. In Lula's government, we have the most unbelievable scandals of corruption. So we have the mensalão that he practically his party paid a salary every week to the Congress for the vote with him, for the vote with the government.
Oh, he paid off. He paid him off. Oh, bribes, payoffs.
It's one of the biggest corruption schemes in the history of the humanity. If you contabilize the amounts of money that were spent.
Wow! Yeah.
And so he distributes chairs to central ministers to people who doesn't have even the knowledge of what he is going to do. So a minister assumed the secretary of pesca. When you fish, there are the what's the term for creating and developing fruits of sea fruits, sea bass. When you have farmers of doing that, we have an evangelic minister to assuming that best in Lula's government.
So he's just very corrupt, it sounds like. And, I don't blame you for not wanting him in there. Do you think he has that kind of money and influence now that he's been imprisoned? Did he have money hidden? Or do his people that are backing him have that kind of money and resources that they had before hidden away or stashed away, do you think?
The second choice. Oh. He was like Obama. He was not a great thinker, but he had a background of people who different of Obama, but in this aspect, but who were extremely efficient in doing what they did, take the state, appropriate the state for personal use. So José Dirceu is one of the guys who were trained with Fidel Castro in Cuba. He was a minister here in Brazil at the time.
How be doing?
One of
his, I didn't know
one
that.
of his principal phrases is, "We did not need to win an election to be in power."
Wow. I'm going to tell you something about Barack Obama. You probably didn't know this. You know, when he was a student, he was the head of the Law Review, the first African American that was ever the head of the Harvard Law Review. And he's also a political science professor before he became a president or senator at Princeton University. And he also went for $9,500 a year. He went to become a city activist and a local leader activist for $9,500 to help people that were poor in underprivileged Chicago suburban area, to be an advocate to help poor people have legal representation. Where he could have worked anywhere in the country for top law firms, he chose to work for the poorest people in the inner cities in Chicago as a civil rights organizer to get justice for the poorest people. You know, and then he also was working.
I'm not denying that his merit. Sorry if I say it look like that. It's Obama always made it clear that he didn't know some aspects of government, and he would prefer to delegate these issues.
Yeah, he was a smart cookie, in my opinion, because I've read a lot of the speech. You got to read the speech that he gave when he started his campaign in Philadelphia. It's the best speech I've ever heard in my life. And I actually met Obama. I guarded him up there with the Secret Service when he came to Yonker Farm in Fargo. I got to have dinner with him, and I actually worked for him when he was working on the Affordable Health Care Act. I actually got a plaque from the White House in my office here in Fargo, my campaign headquarters, signed by the president to me for helping get the Affordable Health Care Act in, which is called the Affordable Health Care, but it's the Obamacare, but because it actually saved my life. I worked on that for 2 years here in North Dakota and all over the world. I blogged and did a lot of things for the president from Fargo through the White House, and it actually saved my life because I had prostate cancer, and then I got in health insurance, and it.
So sorry.
It saved me. Well, it saved my life. I wind up, when I was trying to help everybody else, this healthcare insurance kicked in and saved my life from prostate cancer 3 years after we got it in. And then they took my prostate, and that saved me for a few years. And then I got bladder cancer, and then I wound up going through chemo therapy. But anyway, the Obamacare saved my life, and I didn't even know I was sick when I was out fighting for it. And we got that through, and then I wind up getting health care for the first time in 15 years. And it's a good thing I did, because what I fought for saved my life. So, I mean, the irony of it all is I was fighting for other people, and it wound up saving me too. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great story to tell, that included in your rallies. Improve the speech to you're gonna win a lot of votes, man.
Well, I hope I do. I don't know. I hope I do.
As a political scientist, I can affirm that.
Yeah, that's all true story. You know, I don't lie, but you get caught in your lies. I tell people, don't lie, you get caught in their.
Oh, I do believe you, but it's a beautiful separation story.
It's a true story. It's just incredible, you know, how God works in mysterious ways. You know, it's just unbelievable. I've been blessed, and I've had bad decades too. And you know, you had a bad night today or yesterday, and I can't believe you got robbed. We were just talking about how rough it would be there, and unbelievable. And then you get robbed. I hope you recover from that and recoup, and I hope nothing else happens to you over there. That's terrible in that country, you know.
Maybe one day I can visit you and say you can visit me. I do have a dream to live in America. I don't deny it to anyone.
Well, yeah.
The greatest city in the world for me is New York. Whatever the mayor or whoever is the mayor, whoever is the governor, I don't care. New York City was a dream for me, and when I stepped in JFK, that dream realizes. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So maybe one day.
Yeah, if you can, you should do it if you want to get out of your country. I don't know if you keep getting robbed and all that, you probably want to get out of there. But it's hard if you got relations, family, and friends there. You don't want to leave them behind either, though. You know, that's the biggest one, or children, and hopefully maybe you can bring them with you if you come over here. Because we got a lot.
I don't have. I'm divorced. I don't have children. I all by myself.
Well, then that'd make it easier for you to come over here. You could get here real easy, and there's plenty of jobs in journalism and what you do here. You know, even in Fargo where I live, there's a million jobs here. You'd be. We got a bunch of colleges you could work at, and Fargo would be ideal for you right now. You should come to Fargo. But the thing is, I don't know, could you handle the cold right now? We're 22 below zero.
I love the cold.
22 below.
I was in the Packers Stadium.
Oh.
In
Wisconsin. Yeah, you can handle that. You can handle
Wisconsin.
It here. Well, then you can handle it here if you can handle
without my shirt. Without my shirt. A little bit drunk.
Wow. A little bit drunk, huh? Oh, man. But you like Fargo. They like to drink here, too, so there you go. They like their bison. We got the Indians.
I'm not a drunker, regular drunker, but in that occasion, to see Aaron Rodgers playing, to see that, was an unbelievable game because my team is the Jets. I'm used to lose. It's regular when you choose a team like the Jets. But see Aaron Rodgers and what he has done make me out of my mind.
How did he? Who won the game then that day you were there? Who won?
Oh, of course, it was the Packers.
Wow.
The Jets always lost.
Yeah, the Jets were good when they had Broadway Joe Namath was when they were the best. You know, back in those days in the 70s, Joe Namath.
70s.
Yeah.
72, 73.
Yeah.
I believe.
Joe Namath is where they were really good. That was the best Jets they ever had, you know, and they'll probably come back, you know. Why do you like the Jets?
One day when Because it's word was the first thing that could identify in the development, historical development, cultural traces of Italians and Irish. It's the same people that I descend from.
Are you Italian and Irish? I'm Italian Irish too, yeah.
Yeah.
You're Italian, huh? Yeah.
So you know.
What part of Italy are you
So
from?
you know.
What part of Italy are you?
I'm from Sicily.
I'm
Sicily.
Sicilian too. My family were the Ruffalos and the Scardinos from Italy and Sicily. Ruffalo and Scardinos.
Well, what city? Do you know?
Well, they were Calabria. With my grandmother Scardino was from Calabria, and the Ruffalos were from Sicily. But Cosenza. Yeah.
Or Vicenza.
Maybe Cosenza. Let me look it up here on the map. It's Cosenza.
Both sides of the family are from Palermo.
Oh, you're from Palermo. Okay, I know where that is. The capital there. Cosenza.
Yeah, it's the capital, and it's almost Africa. It's more Africa than Europe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cosenza is a city in Calabria. Okay, that's where my grandmother was from. Cosenza, Calabria. C-O-S-E-N-Z-A.
You are down south, too.
Yeah, they were from Calabria. My grandmother, the Scardinos were Cosenza, C-O-S-E-N-Z-A, is where they were from. C-O-S-E-N-Z-A, Calabria was my grandmother Scardino was from there. That's
Tutto buona gente.
Good friends.
It's yeah, good fellas.
Good fellas. Yeah. How would I say good friends? Yeah, I know a little bit. It's been a while, but we don't speak it much here in Fargo. You know, I'm up here with I'm a little bit Norwegian on my mother's side. We're a lot of Norwegians and Scandinavians here in where I'm at, North Dakota. Up there, yeah, I kind of knew what you said.
Well, you have an interesting mix of cultures.
But I got some Irish. We got some Irish too in our family, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, my grandmother was from Cosenza, and he was from Sicily. Yeah, probably Palermo. My dad talked about Palermo a lot. Yeah, Palermo. They're probably from Palermo. The Ruffalos, Ruffalo, were from Sicily, probably right around there. But I know Cosenza was the Calabria. Scardinos were from Cosenza, C-O-S-E-N-Z-A.
It must be a small city. I'm typing right now. It's
70,000 people there are now. 70,000 people. Yeah, not too many.
Oh yeah, must be a beautiful city.
Oh yeah, Calabria is pretty cool. I was looking at pictures of it. Sicily's got some nice stuff too. You know, I was like, that's pretty amazing too. You know, yeah.
It's my dream to meet my roots.
Well, there's so much history in Sicily that it just blow your mind. That the history there and everything, and it's just unbelievable when you study it and the people that were there. But it was like Venice at one time. I found out, believe it or not, Sicily was the seat of all art and culture and everything. It was like they had the Phoenicians and the Greeks there, and they had the Byzantine Empire, and they had everybody.
The Muslims too.
Muslims were there. Everybody. It was the place, but they said it was the seat of culture. It was like the first Venice, you know, where everybody goes, and just unbelievable where the artists went there to go and do art, and the Africans came through there. Everybody went there. It was something, you know, beautiful, and the food and
in the middle of the Mediterranean, so it's must be a great place just to watch, just to see it.
Port of
to live, it must be.
Well, the port, it was one of the Normans were there too, you know, the Norman Sicily, the Norman conquest of southern Sicily in 1038. They had the Normans come there you know, the Normans, and then they had the Vikings, you know, were there. The Normans, descendants of Vikings came there. And,
Everybody.
yeah, the Vikings.
Maybe we have some Portuguese
Well, we're
too.
Normans, yeah, Portuguese, Normans. The Vikings were there in 1038. You know, a lot of the Vikings. That's where you get a lot of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Italians were from the Vikings that settled there back in the old days, and it's just unreal, you know.
Yeah, I'm white like a British guy. It's the ethnic of Sicily. It's a little bit darker. The guys who live there are more how can I say, more coffee than milk.
Yeah, they get a lot of sunlight there. It's a lot of good sun and everything, good food, and yeah, the culture is just something there. Literature, art. It was just a big. It's got a lot of art there, and a lot of just science, art. It's just unbelievable. The education, the food, the popular culture. Yeah,
The family values. I can remember my grandma reuniting all the family in the Sundays to have lunch. He made spaghettis with it's not almonds, it's meatballs with the real she made the sauce, the tomato sauce.
yeah, with the real tomatoes. I do that too. I actually get these tomatoes imported from Italy now for fun of it, and I make it with the tomatoes, but it's expensive. I get these tomatoes from.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, I get them shipped in, and I buy them, and oh man, it costs me like $100 to make spaghetti and meatballs for my friends on a real special occasion. But I make them right from the tomato. I make the sauce from scratch. It's phenomenal. My sons love it. And then I made it for my ex-wife once because she's had my Italian cooking. You know, it's pretty good. And she goes, "It tastes like sauce. It tastes like just the sauce." That's what she says. And my kids go crazy. People go nuts for it. You know But she just says it tastes like sauce out of a can. I go, "You're crazy." You know, I cooked this stuff for 8 hours on a low simmer, 4 hours, 8 hours. You know. My dad, when he was alive,
You have to peel the tomatoes. It's a tough process.
right?
If you made your own spaghetti, it's an unbelievable process
Well, yeah.
to do.
Yeah, it's real good, and I cook it forever, and I make my own meatballs, you know, my dad's meatball recipe. But my dad, when he was alive, he'd throw a whole chicken in that sauce in a big pot. He'd throw chicken in there. He'd throw pork chops, everything in that sauce and cook it, man. He put everything in there when he was alive, you know. He made bruschelloni. He called it bruschelloni, and he was something.
Bruschelloni.
Yeah, he made this Italian. He had Sicilian, but his.
Bruschelloni.
Yeah.
Bruschelloni.
Yeah.
I know.
Tell him what that is. Tell him what that is. You know what that is. Bruschelloni.
Bruschelloni is like a part of the meat, the steak that it's a little bit. Oh my God! What's the English term for that?
Well, my dad.
I forgot. When you
Yeah.
you say it. Sorry.
I don't know. My dad made it all the time. He'd throw chicken in there, pork chop, and all kinds of chicken. And yeah, he made it. Bruschelloni, you call it.
It's like a blended.
Yeah.
It's like a blended of all the meats.
Yeah. He would make that. My dad loved that. And, well, he made all that. His grandmothers made it, and they were from Sicily, you know. And they made all that stuff when he was a kid. He grew up with the good stuff, you know, and then he used to cook it when I was a kid growing up. And I learned from him how to do it, you know. And my grandfather cooked all that stuff. And I know how to cook it, the good old
In the
stuff.
cold, in the cold, it's more tastier than we here in the hot climate.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we do.
You have
Uh-huh.
a spaghetti, a pizza. It's more. It's even healthier to our body to ingest more carbo
Yeah, but then
in cold weather.
in cold weather, yeah, probably. They tell me it's bad because it creates diabetes and it turns to sugar, and I love all that. I grew up eating that, and they don't want me to eat no pasta or not because it's straight sugar, and they want you to have a high protein diet with just vegetables and fruit and high protein now because of diabetes is good. But the Mediterranean diet is a good diet. If you could stick to the Mediterranean diet, you could survive, which is a good diet. But I cook all that stuff, Marcos, all this Sicilian. I love it, That's what I grew up on, but I'm not supposed to eat too much of it because it's bad for me because I got type 2 diabetes, so I got to watch out. Until I lose some weight, But my dad, everybody, we eat that stuff. What I like to do is take the Italian sausage, fry it up in the olive oil, brown it, and throw it in the sauce and the zugu there. Throw it in the zugu, and then
You make me hungry, man.
and then
Hungry.
manja. Then we manja, eat, eat.
Mangia che te va bene.
Yep, there you go.
Mangia che te va bene.
Right on. There you go. You know what we're saying. That's right. That's time to eat. We got to eat, and then we eat that stuff.
I'm gonna order a pizza.
I can't eat it, making me fat, but I could eat spaghetti any day of the week, But I put the Italian sausage in there, and I fry it up in the olive oil. Then I make my meatballs. I drive these people crazy. They're late. My meatballs I call it happy food, and I heal people because I put herbs and spices in there. Fresh herbs, spices. I make these meatballs, man. I make them.
Basil. Do you use a lot of basil?
I put oregano, basil, everything in there. All kinds of little secret spices. And my certain kind of special breadcrumbs. Everything in there. My eggs. And then you got to use veal, beef. You use veal, beef, and pork. You use a third of everything. That's how the Sicilians do it. Veal, beef, and pork. And then you put all your special ingredients in there. You got to roll it up, brown it in the olive oil, and I make them the size of a softball. Then I throw them in the sauce and let them simmer on low all day and all night, about 4 to 8 hours. And then I let them simmer away, and them things will melt in your mouth. The best meatballs on the planet. And these are money in the bank, and my friends love them. And I got people I talk to in 20 years. They find out I'm having meatballs. They show up at my door to eat my meatballs. They love them. I make the best meatballs on the planet.
Michael, you're gonna make these meatballs for me, man, one day.
Hey, I will. I promise you. When I was a kid, I said, man, I should package these and sell them. And now they're doing it in the stores in America. They got these meatballs, but
It's easier now today.
they're making them now, but they're not fried or anything. They're not cooked. They're just like the meat, and you got to brown them and throw them in the sauce. But people are doing that now. All over the stores here where I live now, you buy them, and there's like a pack of 12, and they're ready for you to throw them in the pan and fry them up, throw them in the zugu there.
It doesn't taste the same.
Yeah. No, because they got a lot of they're processed, and they got a lot of that stuff in there that keeps them alive. They're not fresh as my stuff's all fresh, and for your pasta there, it's not fresh, nothing's fresh like we make it. But yeah, it's never the same, But yeah.
It's never the same.
No. Well, it's good to meet you.
Michael, I'm feeling bad for the trouble I made in your program.
No,
so I'm gonna have to call.
Hey, no problem. No, I have been. No. You're getting me hungry now too. So no trouble in my program. No trouble at all. So I'm glad we got to talk about this good food and everything. You're probably one of my cousins.
You make my humor better, man.
Well, you got an O at the last name. You got a vowel. We're probably related. Our family's was Scardino with the O at the end, and Ruffalo are my direct descendants over there.
Mine is Candeloro.
With the O?
We made candelas, which are, I don't know the expression in English, used to in...
Well, the Ruffalo and our family created the tambourine in Italy and Sicily. That's what I was heard. We were tambourine makers in Sicily. The Ruffalos, And
Tambourine.
we created the tambourine, our family. That's what we're known for, the Ruffalos. Our great-great-great-grandfather over in Sicily and Italy and all that over there.
Candles. Sorry.
The
Candles.
Oh,
We
you were candles. Okay. Well, he created a tambourine.
Yeah.
He invented the tambourine, and he made and sold tambourines, Mr. Ruffalo, our great-great-great-great-grandfather there in Sicily. He invented the tambourine. So, and he sold them. So that's what.
It's a common history.
Yeah.
It's a small world, man.
It says what? What?
A small world.
What's that mean? I didn't understand yet.
It's a small world that we live in.
Oh, a small world. A small world. Yeah. Very small world. Unbelievable. We might be related over there. Probably cousins from Sicily. Unbelievable. And
I don't doubt it.
in Brazil, a lot of Italians and Sicilians in Brazil. Huh? Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the major of our population. It's descent from Italians or Africans.
I'll be darned. Wow. That's pretty neat. Well, the show's going to end.
It's not even Portuguese, fellas. It's Italians and Africans, especially from the region of Angola.
From Angola? Angola? Okay.
Yeah.
The Africans?
That space today we call Angola, but the ethnicity it's a mix of several other ethnicities, but the major one it's Italians.
I'll be darned. Well, that's pretty cool. I got to go there then. I'm going to have to come to Brazil then and say hi. You have probably got a lot of Italian cuisine there. Then I'm going to have to try out. Then is what you're telling me, right?
The best pizza in the world is made in São Paulo.
Oh, okay. São Paulo, Brazil. I'm going to have to go there and try it. I got to go there now because I love pizza and I love anything with Italian food. I've tried it. I've tried a lot of it. You know, that one that's really good is if you're ever in Chicago is Giordano's, and they just opened one up last year in Minneapolis. Giordano's Pizza is real good too. In America, and they opened up pizza chain all over the country. They've been here for a long time, but that's a good pizza. They won number one.
When I went to New York, I heard about Giordano's, and I'm thinking how I Met Your Mother they do tell about Giordano's, don't they?
Yeah, it's a good pizza. And some, a family from El Salvador bought it now, the franchise. And they make it. They went back to Italy, the Giordano family. They went back to Italy and retired. And a family from El Salvador actually owned the pizza franchise now, I found out. And they're doing a great job. And they run it all over the country now. And I
just met the Little Caesar and Domino's when I was there.
Yeah, I'd rather have Giordano's is the best, man. They make a real pizza pie, man. And you can order them online, you know. I don't know if they ship them to Brazil. They put them on dry ice. You can order them anywhere in the United States, and they'll actually ship them to you on dry ice. They come in a box. You get them in like 3 days.
I don't think it would pass through
customs there. Yeah. I've ordered them to Fargo. I get them from Minneapolis now, and I get them in 3 days. And they come to Fargo, but you got to order 3 of them. It's like $75, and I get 3 large pizzas here. It costs a lot of money, but sometimes it's worth it when I get that craving of a real good, authentic pizza. You know, yeah. Or I make my own when I'm really, really in the mood to cook. I'll make a real original one myself. But the show's going to end here in about a minute and a half. We've been talking to our friend. Journalist, political scientist, Marcos Paulo
Candeloro
from Brazil.
From candles, you say candles, you remember me. Candeloro
from Brazil, our good friend that calls into the show, a journalist, television host extraordinaire. And I'll be on the air tomorrow night between 8 and 9. I'm going to be going to Bismarck. Weather permitting, we're supposed to get a storm tonight. Some of the highways are closed. they can open them up. I'll be going to a convention tomorrow, but I'll try to get back tomorrow night into Fargo. If not, I'll broadcast from North Dakota State Capital, Bismarck, North Dakota. And I want to thank Marcos once again for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, thank you for coming on, Marcos. Keep in touch. Sorry, man, I feel bad that I was prophetic tonight, and I didn't even know you were going to get robbed. We were talking about Marco getting robbed and robberies, and I told him, be careful, and he didn't have time to get to his gun, but I said, thank God you didn't have your gun, because four-armed gunmen robbed him yesterday, and I'm glad he didn't have his gun, because he might have had a shootout. Somebody might have got killed or hurt, so thank God maybe you didn't, and you have your life. So be careful, Marcos, and we'll be praying for you here in America that you have your safety. Maybe you got to get the heck out of there and come to America or Fargo and get a job here and be at peace, and have some freedom in your life.
Don't call me twice.
All right.
Don't call me twice. I would go.
All righty. Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody, and get out and vote.